Sometimes students are unsure how to even begin the process of creating a speech. They may not even have a topic for their speech yet. Hopefully they've given themselves enough time to put together something, but occasionally a student will have procrastinated and come in with nothing only a day or two before the speech is due. At that point, there's not a lot you can do for them except show them the basics of speech creation and give them something to work with. But regardless of whether the student has lots of time or very little time, the things I'm going to show you right now will help get them on the right track. Students often say they have nothing to talk about, but I think the opposite is true. There are so many possibilities for topics out there that they simply go blank when trying to choose one. Here's how to help them choose an appropriate topic. First, find out what kind of speech they'll be giving. Certain topics lend themselves better to certain kinds of speeches. Informative topics often include things like objects. They may be talking about black holes or the Golden Gate Bridge. Processes, in other words, they're describing how to do things or how something is done. Events, things that have happened, might happen, could happen, like the Olympics or a battle in World War II. Or concepts, which are beliefs, theories, and principles that they want to go into a little more detail and explain, like the theory of gravity. The topics for persuasive speeches are often about societal problems and issues that the student cares very much about and wants to fix. Sometimes they have particular causes, like charities or things like that they want to try to persuade people to donate their time or money to. Often they are concerned about controversy, like whether vaccines cause autism or something of that nature. Those kinds of things lend themselves better to persuasive speeches than they do to informative speeches. Another thing you should do is ask for the instructor's requirement for that assignment, because instructors might have a requirement about the kind of topic, or they may even have a specific list of topics for the student to pick from. But once you've found out the requirements, then you can help the student to brainstorm. Ask them about what interests them, what they do for fun, for their career, what they're curious about, those kinds of things, and have them write those things down. If they're having trouble coming up with topics, there are a lot of lists of topics, often in speech textbooks and on the internet. If it's for persuasive speech in particular, you might steer them towards the Opposing Viewpoints database, which is on our library website. It's got lots of great topics, and most of the research is already there. But whatever they choose, it may be a little broad. For instance, if they like to ride bicycles and they say, well, I want to do bicycles as my topic, that's far too broad. Help them to narrow that topic down to something that can be accomplished within the time limit of the speech. So different categories of bicycles is narrower than just bicycles in general. Once the student has chosen a topic, the next step is to ask them specifically what they want the audience to know about that topic, and that's going to be their specific purpose statement, which is usually required for their outline. It's written as an infinitive phrase, starting with the words to inform my audience or to persuade my audience. So here are some examples of that. For an informative speech, to inform my audience about the major types of bicycles. For a persuasive speech, it should be something like to persuade my audience to donate their time as coaches for the Special Olympics. Once the student has verbalized this and written it down, it will definitely help them research the topic, because now they know exactly what they're looking for. Now, usually at this point, they start to feel better about the speech creation process because they can see they actually have a goal in mind. These next couple of steps usually require some background research on the topic. Not always, but usually. At this point, I might send them to the computers to look up information about that narrowed down topic. What they're trying to do here is to come up with their central idea or thesis statement and some main points, the things that they're actually going to be discussing in the body of the speech. So, for example, the speech about different types of bikes, they go out and do some research and find out that there are lots of different types of bikes, but the ones that are the most common are road bikes, mountain bikes, hybrid bikes, and urban bikes. They don't have time to address all the different types of bikes, but they can focus on those four. So now that they can create a central idea that accompanies those main points. They're going to have four main points, obviously. The other example is about the Special Olympics one. Because the benefits to both competitors and coaches are so rewarding, everyone should become a coach for the Special Olympics. So what they're doing is writing that out as a complete sentence that explains exactly what the speech is about. Now, as I said, the main points are going to be the big ideas that the student will discuss in the body of the speech. Really, there shouldn't be more than 5. There simply isn't enough time to do more than that, and more than 5 can be confusing for the audience. The speaker is just trying to do too much in that case. 2 or 3 main points are the most common. It's good to help them understand the different organizational patterns. There are a lot of them. Some of them aren't used that often, but it's good to know them in case the student needs them. So here they are. Topical is by far the most common. It's when the main topic is broken down into subtopics. The bike speech is in topical order because it's about different categories of the main topic, which is bikes. Chronological is when the main points are organized by time or by steps. If the student is doing a speech about an event or a person, or they're doing a demonstration speech, it's probably going to be in chronological order. Spatial is organized by where things are located. It's not used that much, but if a person is doing a speech, let's say about a city, then maybe they could organize it by what's in the inner city, in the suburbs, and in the surrounding area. Causal is usually 2 main points, not always, but usually. One dealing with the cause and one dealing with the effects. So it could either be informative if there's no argument about what causes something else to happen, or it could be persuasive if the argument is about whether or not something causes something else to happen. Compare, contrast can be either persuasive or informative. The main points would point out the ways that 2 things are different or alike. Now, if it's persuasive, the student would probably be arguing that because of the differences, one thing is better than the other. But if it's just informative, all they're doing is informing you of the ways in which these things are either alike or different or both. Problem solution is almost always used in persuasive speeches and has 2 main points. One outlines the problem that exists and one showing how the problem can be fixed. Then there's problem cause solution, which is kind of the same thing except it's got 3 main points. It's used when it's important for the audience to know what the cause of the problem is so that the solution will make more sense because it addresses the cause. So in that case, there would be 3 main points, one outlining the problem, one talking about the cause or causes of the problem, and one dealing with the solution to that problem. And finally, motivated sequence. Motivated sequence is a specific pattern that's used when the speaker is trying to get a particular audience to do something. If the instructor wants the students to do this, they usually have a specific outline format for them to follow. So at this point, have the student tell you what they think their organizational pattern will be and have them write what they think their main points are going to be. Now, they can probably go off and do more research and find some sources and start actually putting the speech together. They're going to be very grateful for the help that you've given them.